the best, you got him for abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back tonight to the Online Sim Racing Network as we continue tonight's amazing journey with the Extreme Motorsports 99. Tonight is the Bar Harbor 170. That's the Bar Harbor 170, round 5. This is round 5 of 10, and this is going to mark the halfway of the regular race season before the chase begins in the Truck Series. And this is the Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping World Truck Series Season number 10, brought to you by the Advanced Simulation Products.com, specializing in custom button boxes. I'm your commentator, Sean Zulu, and joining me up in the booth is David Everly. How you doing tonight, Dave?
Doing good, Sean. How you doing?
Oh, doing good too, thank you. Just ready to get back at the at this amazing action with the Extreme Motorsports after a heck of a race last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Speaking of that race, let's take a recap from the Charlotte's race last week. The NC Education Lottery 250. In that race, we had Christian DeFalco bring it home. That is, Christian DeFalco brought it home with the Lucron Automotive team. Curtis Vollmer came out second. Hunter McDaniel came out third. Octavio Rondoletto came out fourth. Nick Hunt came out fifth. Garrett Helmlinger came out sixth. Gary Woobot seventh. Scott Mitten eighth. Timothy Hamlet ninth. And Gary B. Whitson did round up the top 10. And here, moving on to our current points standings. Last week, ladies and gentlemen, if you remember correctly, the points were very, very close. We had drivers in the top 10 spread out by 1 to 2 points, and some even tied. We had a tie for third place between Ken Huber and Jay Pryor last week. But this week, things have changed quite a bit. So Scott Mitten is now the new leader in points this week. Scott Mitten, new leader in points. He went from second place last week to first place this week. And he represents the Ferocity Motorsports team. That's Ferocity Motorsports team. And Greg Bradshaw, who was the points leader last week, has been bumped down to second place and is only 5 points behind Scott Mitten. Third place driver is the 48 of Curtis Vollmer. Curtis Vollmer in that Lowe's machine in the third place spot, only 1 point behind Greg Bradshaw. We have Jay Pryor. Jay Pryor, fourth place in points, 10 points behind Curtis Vollmer. We have Gary B. Whitson. Gary B. Whitson is fifth place in points, only 14 points behind Jay Pryor. Alex Kingsbury, that is Alex Kingsbury, who had some bad luck last week but got all his laps back and finished in a very good spot. Here, currently sixth place in points, only 1 point behind Gary B. Whitson. Nick Hunt and Hunter McDaniel, that is Nick Hunt, Hunter McDaniel, both tied for seventh place in the points and only 2 points behind Alex Kingsbury, who is in sixth place. And Nick Hunt, last race at Charlotte, that was one of his better races, like he talked about. So we really hoped that was his turning point, like we talked about during that interview, for those who might not have been here for the post-race interviews. And eighth place driver is Tommy Haynes. Tommy Haynes, eighth place, only 3 points behind the tied drivers, Hunter McDaniel and Nick Hunt. Octavio Rondoletto is ninth place in points, only 1 point behind Tommy Haynes. And last but not least, in rounding up the top 10, we have two drivers tied for 10th place, namely Joshua Gillen and Gary Woobot, who are only 1 point behind the ninth place driver, Octavio Rondoletto. Well, moving on to tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, the Bar Harbor 170. That's the Bar Harbor 170 at Dover International Speedway, the Monster Mile. Tonight, we do have a 77-degree Fahrenheit track temp. It is partly cloudy with the winds, the air temperature at 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So track temp is 77 degrees, and air temperature is 70 degrees. That is 70 degrees, late afternoon, and winds from the east at 8 miles per hour. And the drivers do have a 65% fuel limit. And as of last week, ladies and gentlemen, as of last week, no more quick fixes, no more fast repairs, no more backup trucks. So with that said, these drivers have to be on their A game to avoid trouble. Well, get active in the chat. It is that time, so type it up, say something. Gonna go all the way to the top here as the driver's grid. So we have Boise back in the chat. That is John Sterling. He is back here tonight. Welcome back, John. Gillen Motorsports, Joshua Gillen. Welcome back, Joshua Gillen. It is great to see you again. We also have Pat T. Pat T is back in the chat. Welcome back, Pat T. Always an honor, always a pleasure to see you in the chat. Hope you're doing well tonight as well. And Drive for Diabetes Awareness, we have Brent Kuo back in the chat. Welcome back, man. It is great to see you again. And the grid is now ready, ladies and gentlemen. Our post sitter is the 99 of Bryce Whitson Jr., one of the aliens in the track series. The 13, Gary B. Whitson, is starting second right beside him. 66, Bobby Tinch third. New points leader, Scott Mitten, 4th. 48 of Curtis Vollmer, 5th. 68 of Ralph Vanderforst, Mr. Highside himself, starting 6th. The 80 of Jay Pryor, 7th. 74 of Greg Bradshaw, second place in points, 8th. 00 of Nick Hunt, 9th. And 64 of Cody McFadden in the 10th place spot. 81 of Travis Pryor, last season's Pro K&N Series champion, 11th. 72, Alex Kingsbury, 12th. 86, Adam Eisenhower, 13th. 17 of Tommy Haynes, 13th. 75 of Wally Tierheimer. We missed Wally Tierheimer last week, but he is back here tonight, starting in the 15th place spot. 77 of Tyler Hallman, 16th. 25 of Doug Blackman, 17th. The 3, Garrett Helmlinger, 18th. We have Randy Perdue, 19th. And John Sterling is back, the 88, in the 20th place spot. The 12, Brandon Ketchum, starting in the 21st place spot. The 9, Chris Voiles, 22nd. The 40 of Joshua Gillen, 23rd. 23, Jim Kelly, 24th. The 36 of Jason Eisenhower, 25th. Tommy Amasi, 26th. Gary Woobot, 27th. 71 of Chris Thorman, 28th. Timothy Hamlet, 29th. And we have Hunter McDaniel in the 30th place spot. And rounding up the rest of the field, we have Robert O'Neill, Jeffrey Gillum, David Elliott, Pedro Jose Luis Buyones, Octavia Rondoletto, we have Kerry Cleaver, Scott Brooks, Dakota Craig, and Poe Davis. And that gives us roughly 37 to 38 trucks starting tonight's race here at Dover International Speedway for the Bar Harbor 170 round 5 of 10, the regular race season. Up front, the pace car dips off, and Brian still holding pace speed, finds the gas pedal before the exit of turn number 4. The green flag is out, and a great start by Brian Switson against his teammate Gary B. Whitson. We are green flag racing, lap 1 of 170, the Bar Harbor 170, round 5, Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping World Truck Series season number 10, brought to you by the Advanced Simulation Products.com, specializing in custom button boxes. And I do believe we had some trouble on the track. Bobby Tinch, 66, Bobby Tinch going from hero to zero really quickly. He has lost about, well, a lot of spots, all his spots this far. He did start in the 3rd place spot. His speed is decreasing. Oh man, I believe Bobby Tinch blew his motor. Oh man, yes, Bobby Tinch blown motor and is now coasting on the apron, on the inside line on lap 2.
Yeah, these drivers got to beware. There is a magic bump. Miles the Monster is lurking in every corner here at Dover. He is hungry. He is going to reach out and grab his trucks. So I think we're going to see a lot of trucks getting up into that outside wall, especially coming through 3 and 4.
Oh, absolutely, yep. Turn 4 has been known to be a killer at this track. So, yep, they have to be on their toes, extra careful for their own good, for their own benefit, for their own success. And here, as we speak, we have Brian Switson with a 9/10 of a second lead, almost 1 second lead against his opponent, his teammate, the 13 of Gary Whitson. That lead just went up to 1.2 seconds. And so far, as we speak, the field is getting nothing but spread out with every single lap. And this track has been known to eat up a lot of tires. It is a mile track, that's 1.0 miles. And ladies and gentlemen, as usual, the drivers have a 65% fuel limit. So with that said, we should expect to see at least 2 pit stops required under green flag conditions. But if we have a few cautions here and there, they'll end up going more than twice down pit road. But once again, as usual, tires play a very important factor at a track like this. And for the back in the pack 74 of Greg Bradshaw battling side by side with the 00 of Nick Hunt. Off the exit of turn 4, Greg Bradshaw gets around him successfully. But now 81 of Travis Pryor wanting a piece of this action. Travis Pryor falls back in line behind Nick Hunt. Tries to get around against him on the exit of turn 2. He does so successfully on the inside, side by side, entering turn 3. Oh, 81 Travis Pryor, man. He had to lift extra off the exit of turn 4 as he was side by side with Nick Hunt. His machine started to drift way up into Nick Hunt. So to avoid causing trouble, he decided to just let off the gas. Basically, they live to fight another lap. Oh, man, big check on the outside line. Travis Pryor sideways. Big wreck entering turn 3. Not really a big wreck, but the caution flies on lap 9. Looks like that started with a big checkup involving Travis Pryor.
As we go back at the replay, yeah, Travis Pryor, he gets sideways, saves it. However, the 72 machine gets into it with Eisenhower there, the 86 machine, and he just overcorrects hard into the outside wall, coming to a stop on the track, bringing out our first caution of the night.
Oh, absolutely. That's very unfortunate for everybody involved in that, especially the 72 of Alex Kingsbury. After the contact, the impact with the wall, his machine got some, releasing some heavy black smoke from the rear end. That is never ever a good thing. And I believe he might be done for the evening. Well, unless he decides to stay on pit road to let his pit crew work on that machine. Because once again, ladies and gentlemen, no more backup trucks, no more quick fixes. So if your damage is bad enough to end your night, it will, without a doubt, end your night, as everybody is now on pit road. Well, everybody except for the 5-0 of Scott Mitten. Scott Mitten stayed out during this first caution. It is now the new race leader on lap number 11. And one driver gets the wave around the pace car. The 4-0 of Joshua Gillen. Joshua Gillen back on the lead lap on lap 11. The 7 of Pedro Jose Buyones going down pit road as we speak. He does have some damage on the front end of that Toyota Tundra with an amazing paint scheme, but unfortunately, yep, he has to go down pit road to get that damage fixed. But the good thing about this, ladies and gentlemen, this being a short track like it is, these things can take quite a beating and still stay competitive. And so far, 12 laps in the updated top 10 stands. We have Scott Mitten, the new leader. Bryce Whitson Jr. second. Gary Whitson third. Curtis Vollmer fourth. Jay Pryor fifth. Ralph Vanderforst sixth. Greg Bradshaw seventh. Nick Hunt eighth. Cody McFadden ninth. And Adam Eisenhower in the 10th place spot, rounding up the top 10. And the status check on the driver who blew his motor on lap number 1, unfortunately, the 66 of Bobby Tinch. Bobby Tinch is still on pit road as we speak, with his pit crew hard at work trying to get that machine back to life. And that was very unfortunate for the 66 of Bobby Tinch, the Napa Know-How Chevy Silverado. Hopefully his machine comes back to life before the race is over, but we are now back 1 to green this time around, with the lineup being Scott Mitten still leading with the help of Gary Whitson. The outside line being led by Bryce Whitson with the help of 48 of Curtis Vollmer, the Lowe's machine. Entering turn 3 this time around, everybody getting bunched up nice and tight, nice and strong. And these drivers have to be careful with a very deadly wheel spin, especially on the exit of turn 4 while going green it is. It has been known to claim a lot of drivers at this track, but that pace car dips off. Scott Mitten finds the gas pedal on the exit of turn 4. He gets a commanding start against everybody else, and the green flag is now out, as now Bryce Whitson Jr. and Gary Whitson go down single file. The two teammates, 48 of Curtis Vollmer, as well, falls back in line, 4th place, and 13 of Gary Whitson. Nope, Curtis Vollmer trying to take advantage of those new tires on the inside of 13 of Gary Whitson, sorry, but wasn't able to make it stick and just decides to go back down single file behind Whitson for now. But behind him, 68 of Ralph Vanderforst, Mr. Highside himself, approaching 48 of Vollmer, at the same time pulling on the 80 of Jay Pryor. And ladies and gentlemen, with the 4 races complete this season, the drivers so far who have themselves locked into the chase include Bryce Whitson Jr., Ken Huber, Christian DeFalco, and Randy Perdue. I'll repeat that backwards. Randy Perdue, Christian DeFalco, Ken Huber, and Bryce Whitson Jr. all securing themselves a spot in the chase as a result of having a win so far this season with the 4 races complete. So 4 complete races and 4 different winners to go with it. '86 of Adam Eisenhower making some moves already on the inside of 64 of Cody McFadden. He makes that pass successfully against him, and that bumps McFadden down to 10th place. And Adam Eisenhower's first appearance in the top 10 with 18 laps in. And now Adam Eisenhower's next victim is the 00 of Nick Hunt. Cody McFadden has not had enough. Actually, he's trying to take back what was rightfully his, which was the 9th place spot. He goes to the inside, but not enough to make it work. He backs off and lives to fight another lap. And speaking of '86 of Adam Eisenhower had some bad luck last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We have some content on the exit of turn number 2. Big wreck entering turn 3. Doug Blackman involved. 74 of Greg Bradshaw involved. Actually, that was 50 of Scott Mitten, and Greg Bradshaw gonna back it up and see what happened. Let's focus on the 50 of Scott Mitten. It looks like that's where he started.
All right, trying to find Scott Mitten here. So we're going to start with here. It was some contact between him and the 80 of Jay Pryor. Scott Mitten goes into the outside wall, and unfortunately the 74 Greg Bradshaw into that. Nothing they can do as they go around and bring out our second caution.
Oh man, absolutely very unfortunate for both drivers involved in that. Oh man, and I'm actually surprised that did not claim more drivers. So great job to everybody out there. Great awareness by the drivers. They were able to minimize the damage the most that they could. And only 2 trucks got involved as a result. That definitely could have been worse with how narrow this track is and with that heavy banking. But still very unfortunate for both drivers involved. Well, up front we have Bryce Whitson Jr. leading everybody down pit road with his teammate right behind him. And they are following. And 4-0 of Joshua Gillen is back on the lead lap. He did decide to stay out this caution. He always stays out an extra lap. So he most likely will be pitting in next time around. And one more driver gets the lucky dog. That is the 7 of Pedro Jose Luis Bullones. Around the pace car he goes, getting 1 lap back. And is now 1 lap down from 2 laps down. And the race off pit road was won by 13 of Gary B. Whitson, able to take a spot away from his teammate, Bryce Whitson Jr. And as suspected, the 4-0 Joshua Gillen going down pit road and being accompanied by 42 of David Elliott. And ladies and gentlemen, my laptop turned off. It's what I use for the chat. So if you guys are typing, I am waiting for it to turn back on. It is taking a very, very long time, but I will get to those messages. So please keep typing it up. And the updated top 10 with the changes in positions throughout the track for those during the pit road cycles. Gary Whitson is the new leader, Bryce Whitson second, Curtis Vollmer third, Adam Eisenhower fourth, Ralph van der Forst fifth, Nick Hunt sixth, Cody McFadden seventh, Tommy Haynes eighth, Wally Tierheimer ninth, and Tyler Hallman in the 10th place spot. And the heaviest movers this far. So at this point we have 4 drivers new to the top 10. That's 4 new drivers in the top 10, namely Adam Eisenhower from 13th place to 4th. We also have Tommy Haynes from 14th place to 8th, Wally Tierheimer from 15th place to 9th, and Tyler Hallman from 16th to 10th. But we are now back 1 to green, and we are being led by the Whitson Motorsports team. Gary Whitson and Bryce Whitson side by side, controlling the pace of the field. The inside line, Gary Whitson with the help of the 48 of Vollmer. The outside line being assisted by the 86 of Adam Eisenhower, well, assisting one of the Whitsons, the 99 of Bryce Whitson. And ladies and gentlemen, this is one of those tracks. Just like Milwaukee, we'll have most likely little to no machines with not a single scratch on them. So basically expect to see some kind of scratch, some kind of mark on these machines by the end of tonight's race. The pace car dips off, and Gary finds the gas pedal up front of the exit of turn 4. Great start against his opponent, his teammate, Bryce Whitson Jr. The green flag is now out, and 48 of Curtis Vollmer already going at it against second place driver, 99 of Whitson Jr. side by side off turn 2. And 48 of Curtis Vollmer able to get around the 99 of Bryce Whitson Jr. successfully on lap number 26. And now his next victim is the leader, the 13 of Gary Whitson. Oh, he goes to the inside of Gary Whitson. Side by side they go on the exit of turn number 3, turn 2, entering turn 3. And a caution flies this time around. We're going to back it up and see what happened.
That looks like that's going to involve the 00 there of Nick Hunt. Looks like some contact between him and I believe that's the 68 of Ralph van der Forst. Unfortunately, the 75 gets tossed up on his lid here. Let's see if we can get a good look here of exactly what happened. Yeah, it's some contact between the 00 and the 68 as the 68 gets into the outside wall. Unfortunately, they both go sideways. And the 75, unfortunately, nowhere to go, collected up in that. Also, the 3 machine, he is also going to be involved with that as well.
Oh, man, that's very unfortunate for every single driver involved. And the biggest wreck we've seen yet. Oh, man, Nick Hunt, heavy smoke from the rear end as a result. Wally Tierheimer in the exact same boat. Oh, pit road is going to be a very busy place under this caution. But going back up front, we are being led by a new leader, 48 of Curtis Vollmer with the help of Gary B. Whitson, Bryce Whitson 3rd, Adam Eisenhower 4th, and Ralph van der Forst in the 5th place spot. And so far, a lot of drivers staying out, but we have Tyler Hallman, Randy Perdue, Brandon Ketchum, Garrett Helmlinger, Chris Voiles, Timothy Hamlet, Robert O'Neill, Jason Eisenhower, Jeffrey Gillum, Chris Thorman, Tommy Amasi, and Scott Brooks all down pit road, but everybody else staying out. And ladies and gentlemen, after this race, this is the halfway race of the regular race season. So this might be high gear time. Well, time for some drivers to put this thing in high gear so they can be able to get themselves locked into the chase or be among the drivers who will be eligible, or among the top 6 or top 8 or whatever, or however many drivers they might need to fill up the rest of the chase spots. So just 5 more races left in the regular race season. So this one, season number 10, 10-week regular race season and a 5-week chase series, which is a total of 15 races, 15 weeks. And in the regular race season, they do have 1 drop week, so which means one of their worst races will not count against them. And a lot of new drivers coming out of nowhere. We have Hunter Mick, Daniel Maverick Motorsports driver, defending champion here season 10. Currently in the 8th place spot after starting in the 30th place position. We have Jim Kelly as well. Jim Kelly from 24th place to 9th. Octavia Rondoletto, that's Octavia Rondoletto, who finished 4th place last week at Charlotte. Currently in the 10th place spot after starting the 36th place spot. So we have Hunter McDaniel, Jim Kelly, and Octavia Rondoletto, all new to the top 10. And also 88 of John Sterling. John Sterling from 20th place to 11th this far, very impressive. 51 of Paul Davis from the 37th place spot. So that's going to be Paul Davis from 37th to the 12th place spot. Actually 11th place position with 30 laps in. Also not to forget 91 of Robert O'Neill from 32nd place to 13th. Timothy Hamlet 29th to 14th. Randy Perdue 19th to 15th. Jeffrey Gillam 33rd to 16th. And we are now back 1 to green. Actually scratch that. The caution has been extended, going around one more time. And that's right, Pat T. Yep, Hunter does come out of nowhere all the time. So far with 30 laps in and 141 laps remaining in tonight's race, we have not seen any drivers get claimed by the exit of turn number 4. Well, that bump we talked about on the exit of turn number 4 claims a lot of drivers, but the race is still young. So I hope we keep it this way, though. By this way, I mean nobody gets claimed by that wall. But we are now back 1 to green. Curtis Vollmer with the help of Bryce Whitson on the inside line. The outside line being led by Gary Whitson with the help of Adam Eisenhower. Oh, unfortunately, we've lost 2 drivers, 2 teammates actually. Chris Voiles and Wally Tierheimer with the Bandit Motorsports team, both retiring early after getting a piece of the action. We look forward to seeing these drivers back next week for Texas Motor Speedway. Going green this time around, 139 lap shootout coming up. The pace car dips off and Vollmer finds the loud pedal and it gets a great restart against his opponents, and the green flag is finally out. Second place driver 13 of Gary Whitson being challenged by 99 of Bryce Whitson, but they end up going back down single file and maintain second and third place respectively. 86 Adam Eisenhower 4th place in line behind with a Sim Speed Shop machine with some front end damage on the Silverado, but no harm, it is still tracking. Another quick caution this time around on lap 33. We're going to back it up and see what happened.
That's going to involve the 25 machine as he looks to go to the inside of Scott Mitten. Oh, contact between the 25 and 72. Scott Minton getting a little bit of damage from that. Nothing major, though. Just bad move, bad time right there. As the 25 goes around, but keeps it off the wall. So, looks like Miles the Monster's in overdrive.
Absolutely. And yeah, very unfortunate for every single driver involved in that, especially the 25 of Doug Blackman, who was forced to get a tow down the pit road. That's going to take a lot of time. He most likely will go 2 to 3 laps down before he gets back on the racing surface. But the good thing is, looks like his machine was still running before he ended up towing. Going back up front, we are still being led by 48 of Curtis Vollmer, who at this point is leading everybody down pit road. But on the behind the pace car on the track, we have 86 of Adam Eisenhower staying out. Actually, quite a few drivers staying out this caution. Majority of the field is on pit road, but some drivers staying out. We have Adam Eisenhower, Hunter McDaniel, Jay Pryor, Octavio Rondoletto, Jason Eisenhower, Brandon Ketchum, Travis Pryor, and Joshua Gillen all staying out this time around. And looks like 48 of Curtis Vollmer lost the lead off pit road. Yep, he's going to the back of the pack. Actually, looks like he might have gotten caught speeding or received some kind of penalty on pit road. Yes, Curtis Vollmer has lost the lead. So he will be starting at the end of the longest line, unfortunately. But up front, we are still being led by 86 Adam Eisenhower, Hunter McDaniel second, Jay Pryor third, Octavio Rondoletto fourth, and Curtis Vollmer. She scratched that. Gary B. Whitson in the 5th place spot. So scanning the field this far, ladies and gentlemen, the top 5 drivers all have some kind of damage, some kind of scratch on their machines. So that just goes to show you how tricky this track is and how difficult it is at the same time, I guess, in that case. So Octavio Rondoletto, Jay Pryor, Hunter McDaniel, and Adam Eisenhower. Adam Eisenhower and Hunter McDaniel both having the worst damage among the top 5 drivers. And a status check on the 25 of Doug Blackman. Doug Blackman still on pit road as we speak. He is out of the truck, so he might be done for the night or maybe getting some damage fixed. But that machine was still running before he got towed down to pit road. So hopefully he's still able to get back out there and put down some more laps. Looks like the machine just shook. That's a good sign. 4 tires, full tank of gas. Hopefully we'll be rolling off before too long. But up front, we are back 1 to green, being led by Adam Eisenhower with the help of the 80 Jay Pryor. Outside line being led by Hunter McDaniel with the help of 39 of Octavio Rondoletto. Everybody getting bunched up nice and strong, ready for this green flag to fly. We have everybody getting bunched up once again. Brandon Ketchum starting side by side with 36 of Jason Eisenhower, but pace car dips off, and Adam finds the gas pedal immediately and gets a good restart against everybody. The green flag is finally out, and Hunter McDaniel right behind Adam Eisenhower. And Adam Eisenhower's machine did shake a little bit. The back end almost kicked out in between second and third gear. That was almost ugly, but nice save by Adam Eisenhower. We are still green flag racing. Travis J. Pryor in the third place spot. Octavio Rondoletto in the fourth place position. And Jason Eisenhower still rounding up the top 5. And a driver back from the dead. The 64 of Cody McFadden in the 8th place spot. Just about took one other driver. That was the 12 of Brandon Ketchum. And now McFadden's next victim is 99 of Bryce Wilson, but the caution flies this time around. Gonna see what happened.
Oh, it looks like it's going to be a single vehicle accident. The 40 of Joshua Gillen just lost it there. If you go back to the replay, I think he got a hold of that bump. I'm not sure what happened, but he just went right into the outside wall. I think he might have been checking up for something in front of him, not sure, but that is going to be our 5th caution here tonight.
Oh, absolutely very unfortunate. Actually, looking at it here, we had a different incident too. Besides that one, it was between Poe Davis and 71 of Chris Thorman. They did end up making some contact there, unfortunately, which sent Poe Davis sky high and Chris Thorman into the inside wall. And both drivers getting some heavy damage, with Chris Thorman getting forced to tow his machine to pit road. But going back up front, we are being led by 86 of Adam Eisenhower, Hunter McDaniel 2nd, Jay Pryor 3rd, Octavio Rondoletto 4th, and Jason Eisenhower in the 5th place spot. And the good thing in the case of the 4-0 of Joshua Gillen, he lives to fight for the next laps to come. His machine is still running, getting 4 tires as we speak, the full tank of gas. And that's why I talked about the 12 of Brandon Ketchum there briefly under the green flag conditions. He is new to the top 10. He has come a very long way from 21st place to the 9th place spot in the U.S. Army machine with the AdvancedSimulationProducts.com stamped on the rear end of it. That's a well-dressed Silverado. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bar Harbor 170. That's the Bar Harbor 170, round 5 of 10. Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping World Truck Series Season 10. Brought to you by the AdvancedSimulationProducts.com, specializing in custom button boxes. So check them out. Unfortunately, of the 37 drivers that started tonight's race, we only have 26 drivers on the lead lap, and everybody 1 or more laps down, and some of them actually retiring early for the evening. This track is one of the trickiest tracks, ladies and gentlemen, and these drivers being on their toes, being extra careful to try not to get claimed at this point. It just might be survival of the fittest, as they are all trying their best to not get claimed by it, because at this point this track is trying to take as much as it can and give nothing at all. And we are now back 1 to green, still being led by Adam Eisenhower with the help of the 8-0 Jay Pryor. Outside line being led by Hunter McDaniel with the help of 39 of Octavio Rondoletto. The pace car dips off and Adam finds that gas pedal. And he gets a good start again. Second place driver, well, not quite. Hunter McDaniel saw that coming. Looks like Adam Eisenhower was having some difficulty between second and third gear. The machine seems to be getting a little bit squirrely, but he still maintains the first place spot against Hunter McDaniel, surprisingly. But Hunter McDaniel is on him like fudge cake on Sunday and making his presence known in the rearview mirror. 8-0 Jay Pryor to the inside of Hunter McDaniel. Side by side, the two teammates go. They are still side by side as we speak. Jay Pryor to the inside, Hunter to the outside, but Jay Pryor falls short due to the inside lane disadvantage, but the outside lane being occupied by 39 of Octavio Rondoletto. Side by side, they're going to exit of turn number 4. It's going to be a drag race to turn 1 between the two drivers. And Bryce Wilson approaching both drivers, Octavio and Pryor. So far, they make contact in ring turn 3, and that shoots Octavio all the way high. He smacks the wall, he gets sucked into the wall. Oh man, he gets spun out. No harm done to anybody else. But he's now paying the price. He's trying to play catch up as we speak. And he's now bumped down to the 7th place spot in between Cody McFadden and Gary B. Whitson. So far in the top 5, we have Adam Eisenhower with the Eisenhower Racing Team, Hunter McDaniel, Maverick Motorsports, Jay Pryor, Maverick Motorsports, Bryce Whitson, Junior Whitson Motorsports, Travis Pryor, Maverick Motorsports, and Cody McFadden here in the Performance Motorsports team, currently in the 6th place position. For the back in the pack, the 12 of Brandon Ketchum, slowly creeping up to the top. He's now behind the 36 of Jason Eisenhower, nose to tail. A lot of different racing teams going against each other. By the end of the day, there can only be one winner. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, knows that this is race 5 of 10, the halfway mark, the halfway race of the regular race season, to get themselves locked into the chase. So they're trying to take while they can and give nothing at all. And 88 of John Sterling to the inside of 12 of Brandon Ketchum. Side by side they go through turns number 3 and 4, actually 1 and 2. But off turn number 2, Ketchum was able to edge him out and maintain that spot against him for now. And some more side by side going on up front. Oh, contact 8-0 Jay Pryor into the wall. Jay Pryor is wrecking as we speak. He's off the track. He smacks the wall. The caution gonna come out? Nope. The green flag stays out. No, the caution finally flies. Oh man, let's back it up on Jay Pryor and see what happened.
And it looks like contact between Jay Pryor and I'm not sure what truck that was. That might have been the 99 there. It was the 99 as they come out of turn 2. Jay tried to save it, got up into the outside wall. then down to the inside wall, then comes back out on the track, bringing out our 6th caution of the night.
Oh man, absolutely very unfortunate for Jay Pryor, getting the worst end of that deal, and he lost control of that machine once it hit the outside and the inside walls. Unfortunately, but his machine is still running, but with some heavy, way too heavy damage on the front end. So hopefully, that machine is still able to do some kind of damage position-wise on the racing surface. But I'm sure he's going to have a lot of required repairs on pit road. But we are being led by Adam Eisenhower, who leads everybody down pit road as we speak. And Robert O'Neill, unfortunately, Robert O'Neill is retiring early on, lap 54. Here, unfortunately, he had some bad luck. We look forward to seeing him back again next week for the Advanced Simulation Products 142 Texas Motor Speedway. And behind the pace car, we have Alex Kingsbury. Alex Kingsbury is 10 laps down in 29th place. We have Bobby Tinch. Bobby Tinch's machine is running again. He is back from the dead. It is great to see Bobby Tinch again. He is going down pit road as we speak, behind the 4-0 of Joshua Gillen. And we have Alex Kingsbury behind the pace car, hoping to get one lap back to be put down. Oh, he's actually 9 laps down already. So he's going to be going to 8 laps down once the lights in the pace car do turn off. And an interview request. Unfortunately, Brent, the caution laps do go by pretty quickly. So unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to get too much of a word in with him. And 36 of Jason Eisenhower. SimSpeedShop.com machine behind the 17 of Tommy Haynes, and Jason currently in the 8th place spot. He has been just pretty much riding, but still gaining spots in the process. He's come a very long way from 25th place to 8th this far, and continues to climb as the race progresses. But going back up front, we are back 1 to green, and the leader, Adam Eisenhower, has lane choices starting on the outside line with the help of Travis Pryor. Inside line being led by Hunter McDaniel with the help of Bryce Whitson. I noticed that Adam Eisenhower was having some difficulty between 2nd and 3rd gear on the inside line, so he's deciding this time to start on the outside to avoid that trouble. Pace car dips off Adam, still holding. Pace speed defines that gas pedal, but Hunter sees it coming in time to occupy his inside line. Side by side they go as the green flag flies. Entering turn 1 side by side still, and Hunter has a preferred race groove entering turn number 1. Yes, he gets him and leaves enough room for Travis Pryor to do the exact same thing. Oh man, looks like Adam starting on the outside was not the best thing. He goes from 1st place, 2nd place to 3rd place before the before lap 57 is complete actually. And now that gives us another lead change. Hunter McDaniel currently in the new leader. Travis Pryor second. Adam Eisenhower third. Gary Whitson fourth. And Cody McFadden in the 5th place spot. Well, ladies and gentlemen, 58 laps complete and 113 laps left in tonight's race. Gonna take a first commercial break of the evening. We'll be right back, so please stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bar Harbor 170. That's the Bar Harbor 170, round 5 of 10. Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping World Track Series Season 10. Brought to you by the Advanced Simulation Products. That's advancedsimulationproducts.com. Specializing in custom button boxes. That's advancedsimulationproducts.com. Well, we are under caution here, ladies and gentlemen, and that wreck actually took out a lot of drivers. It involved Cody McFadden, Adam Eisenhower. 17 of Tommy Haynes blew up. It also involved the 88 of John Sterling got a piece of the action. Unfortunately, Ralph Vanderforst as well spun out as a result. But 17 of Tommy Haynes got the worst end of that deal, as he did blow his motor on impact. But right now, as we speak, Hunter McDaniel is the new race leader with some extended damage on the front end. The damage got worse. John Sterling second, Jason Eisenhower third, Tyler Hallman fourth, 39 of Octavia Rondoletto fifth, rounding up the top 5 so far. And ladies and gentlemen, going back to the ExtremeMotorsports99.com, they do have a lot to offer. They have Road Series, Oval Series, so you guys can join based on experience. Well, for the Oval Series at least, you can join based on experience because they place you in different series based on how much experience you have. So on Monday nights, they have a Road Series and a Pro K&N Series. On Tuesday nights, a Track Series. On Wednesday nights, Xfinity Series. So you guys can join any of those based on preference and experience. That's ExtremeMotorsports99.com. They also had a Cup Series last season and seasons before that, but that series is not running this season at the moment. So once again, ExtremeMotorsports99.com. Well, 25 of Doug Blackman gets the wave around the pace car. He is now 21 laps down from 22 laps down. That's a good thing, making some progress, but we are now back 1 to green. Hunter McDaniel leading with the help of 36 of Jason Eisenhower. The outside being led by 88 of John Sterling. He's come a long way tonight with the help of 77 of Tyler Hallman, who as well has come a very long way. We didn't see much of Tyler Hallman until now, and every time we see Tyler Hallman up front, it's always difficult to get rid of him. So with that said, expect to see a lot more of Hallman. A pace car dips off. Hunter McDaniel finds that gas pedal, and the inside line, Jason Eisenhower gets a better start than the 88 of John Sterling, who is on the outside. They go side by side, entering turn 1, and Tyler Hallman falls in line to be behind Jason Eisenhower, because on starts and restarts, the inside line is the way to go. It is the place to be. But entering turn number 3, Jason Eisenhower lets John Sterling maintain it, but a caution is gonna fly here. I heard some sliding entering turn 3. Did they save it? Oh no, the caution flies. That did involve Scott Brooks and 42 of David Elliott. That's where it started. So it was contact between David Elliott and Scott Brooks.
Yeah, it looks like the 42 checked up, and the one truck error, I can't get the number on that. I think it's the 119 or 149, just did not get checked up enough time, got in the back end of him. That is going to bring out our 8th caution here tonight.
Yeah, very unfortunate for both drivers involved in that, and surprisingly, they didn't claim a lot more. But yeah, great job to the drivers, making that not making that worse than it actually was. And unfortunately, we have lost the 42 of David Elliott, retiring with 70 laps complete in his race. But going back up front, we are still being led by Hunter McDaniel, John Sterling second, Jason Eisenhower third, Tyler Hallman fourth, and Octavio Rondoletto in the 5th place spot. And the lucky dog has been issued, and 13 of Gary Whitson gets the waiver on the pace car. Gary Whitson back on the lead lap this time around. Congrats to Gary Whitson. And now that gives us 17 drivers on the lead lap. That is 17 drivers on the lead lap. And that's going to give us 19 drivers. Unfortunately, that's 19 drivers, one or more laps down this far. And this race just might act as a drop week for some of these drivers. Unfortunately, we lost a lot of drivers early on in the race. So hopefully those the drop week kicks in at the end of the season. And you have 13 of Gary Whitson right now going down pit road as we speak behind the 3 of Garrett Helmlinger. Haven't spoken much of Garrett Helmlinger tonight, if any, but he has kept a low profile and had some bad luck early on, and is being shown 40 laps down in 33rd. So scanning the field this far, every single machine in the top 10, with the exception of 48 of Curtis Vollmer, has some damage on the machine, on the some kind of damage on them. Well, once again, so everybody in the top 10 except for Curtis Vollmer. So Curtis Vollmer has the cleanest machine out there, with not a single scratch on it. And the updated top 10, Hunter McDaniel, John Sterling, Jason Eisenhower, Tyler Holman, Octavia Rondoletto, Bryce Whitson Jr., Curtis Vollmer, Gary Woolbot, Ralph Van der Forst, and Scott Mitten rounding up the top 10. And a new viewer in the chat, we have Big Mac in the chat. Welcome to the Online Sim Racing Network there, Big Mac. Hope you're doing well. And indeed, man, yep, Hunter McDaniel has come a very long way tonight from 30th place to first, gaining 29 spots this far. And we are now 1 to green, being led by Hunter McDaniel with the help of Jason Eisenhower. The outside line being led by John Sterling with the help of 77 of Tyler Holman. A pace car dips off. And Hunter finds the gas pedal. 88 of John Sterling sees it coming in time to maintain second place against 36 of Jason Eisenhower. But so far, Tyler Holman trying to make a move against Jason on the outside line. Side by side, they go through turns number 1 and 2 off the exit of 2. Slingshot engaged by 77 of Holman against Eisenhower. And they stay side by side, entering 3. On the exit of turn 2 this time around, Jason able to maintain third place against Holman, who tried to fall back in line, but his inside was occupied by 99 of Bryce Whitson, who got around him as well. So that bumps Tyler Holman down to 5th place and Bryce Whitson to 4th. And 39 of Octavia Rondoletto. Octavia Rondoletto on the outside of 48 of Curtis Vollmer. They are side by side. Actually, they end up going back down single file. But Octavia with a big run of the exit of turn 4 against 48 of Vollmer. Didn't have to make it stick. Nope, he backs off and lets him maintain it. The cleanest machine, the Samson Motorsports driver Lowe's machine. The Curtis Vollmer on the inside of 77 of Tyler Hallman is trying to get the cleanest machine to the front so he can enjoy that amazing clean air as he got around Tyler Hallman, and that bumped him up to 5th place and Hallman down to 6th. For the back in the pack, 05 of Tommy Amasi. Best spoken match of Tommy Amasi tonight, if any. But he is making his way towards the front, currently in the 16th place spot. He's got a clean machine as well. Not a single scratch on that beast. Nope, not a single scratch to show for it. That's an amazing truck he has, that Silverado. His next victim is the 49 of Timothy Hamlet, who's just got around the 13 of Gary B. Whitson. So now Jeffrey Gillam is his next victim for 14th place, as that just changed. So Tommy Amasi's strategy just to stay in the back of the pack early on and let everything cycle out as he got used to the handling of his machine, handle the changing handling with the changing track state. And so far he's catching up to the 61 of Jeffrey Gillam side by side, exiting turn number 2. He gets around Jeffrey Gillam. He looks like he's just killing a lot of birds with every single lap, gaining spots left and right. Oh, he gets loose of the exit of turn number 4, must lose the machine. But a nice save by him. He did not lift whatsoever. And that somehow balanced the machine out. And now he has 49 of Tim Hamlet in his sight. And Tommy Amasi at this point is now behind the 49 of Timothy Hamlet. He did catch Timothy Hamlet at a very fast rate. So Tommy Amasi has found 5th gear at this point with 85 laps into tonight's race and 86 laps remaining. And going a little bit up front, the 5 of Randy Perdue. Randy Perdue currently in the 11th place spot behind the 5-0 of Scott Mitten, who is his next opponent. But at the moment he is behind the 7 of Pedro Jose Luis Buyones, currently in the 18th place spot, 3 laps down. So hopefully Pedro is able to get those laps back. He had some difficulty, some bad luck there early on, but has still been determined, kept his head high, and it seems to be paying off. That's amazing. And 23 of Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly new to the top 10, currently in the 9th place spot from the 24th place position, and with a brand new a somewhat clean truck. The front end is beat up a little bit, and his next victim being the 68 of Ralph Vanderforst, Mr. Highside himself. And we have DSI, that's DSI Anarchy in the chat. Welcome to the Online Sim Racing Network there, DS. Hope you're doing well tonight. And a big cluster has been formed in the 3rd to 7th place spot. We have Tyler Hallman, Jason Eisenhower, Octavio Rondoletto, John Sterling, and 48 of Curtis Vollmer. And so far, John Sterling and Curtis Vollmer going at it side by side. Vollmer is able to edge out John Sterling on the entrance to turn number 3 and off turn 4. Big run by Sterling against 48 of Vollmer, but still not enough to make a difference. And that cluster just got broken up behind Octavio, and Tyler Hallman lost about a second and a half to Octavio Rondoletto, because as we checked last time, they were nose to tail. So something happened that we might have missed, but we are still rolling green flag racing. Contacts between John Sterling and Octavio Rondoletto that sent John Sterling out up into the outside wall, exiting turn number 2. All momentum was lost and some scratches gained on the right front of Sterling's machine, but he is now trying to play catch-up behind Octavio. And the field is getting more and more spread out with every single lap. Up front, Bryce Whitson Jr., the leader, is actually less than a second away from the last place driver on the lead lap, 36 of Jason Eisenhower. And that just changed, I believe. Oh, no, Hunter McDaniel is currently... Nope, Hunter McDaniel is the leader, I apologize. And Bryce Whitson second place. And both drivers are about 0.3 of a second away from lapping 36 of Jason Eisenhower, who is the last driver on the lead lap. And ladies and gentlemen, the drivers have been going about 32 laps since they last pitted in. Well, most of them, and the majority of the field, has gone about 32 to 33 laps since their last pit stops. With that said, we should expect to have at least one more. We should expect to have one more cycle of pit stops for them to be able to make it the rest of the way. 73 laps remaining in tonight's race and 98 laps complete. And looks like up front, 36 of Jason Eisenhower has been put one lap down. And that now leaves us with contact between 99 of Whitson Jr. and McDaniel. Almost contact. Oh man, no harm done. They were able to back off to avoid causing trouble, but that leaves enough room for 48 of Vollmer to poke his nose into the battle between Whitson Jr. and McDaniel. Looks like they were side by side, Vollmer and Whitson Jr., but they ended up going back single file, with Bryce Whitson still maintaining second place against Vollmer. And now the next victim going a lap down, if they catch him and get around him, is 61 of Jeffrey Gillum, who is actually getting caught by the leaders as we speak. Yep, the leaders coming out to two lapped machines, namely Scott Brooks and Jeffrey Gillum. And Scott Brooks stays high and lets the drivers by. 61 of Jeffrey Gillum as well is staying high and letting the faster traffic by on the inside. And also Curtis was able to get around the 99 of Whitson Jr. And as we speak, Vollmer trying to go against Hunter McDaniel side by side off turn number 2. Hunter slingshot engaged and a drag race to turn 3. Let's see who maintains it. Yep, entering turn 3 seems like you want to be on the inside. Then a big run by McDaniel against Curtis Vollmer, but not enough time to make it work. And that gives us another lead change on lap 104. Looks like the long run of Hunter McDaniel, well, the long run cycle of the truck that Hunter McDaniel has, that Toyota Tundra, because of the damage. Oh, contact between McDaniel and Whitson Jr. He gets into the wall on the exit of 2. All speed, all momentum lost, and 1 spot to go with it. At the exact same time, that does put the 00 of Nick Hunt on his tail, but no harm, as Nick Hunt unfortunately is 71 laps down due to some bad luck. But like I was saying, McDaniel has seemed to have decreased the pace. Basically, the long run is suffering on his part due to the truck's front end damage. Unfortunately, but he is still tracking as we speak now, being shown about a second and a half away from the second place driver, Whitson Jr. On the caution flies this time around on lap 107 with 64 laps complete. Gonna back it up, see what happened.
That is going to start with a 50 of Scott Mitten here as we go back to the replay. As he slid up in front of, I think, Jim Kelly, got into the wall. Then Jim Kelly, trying to get around him, just lost it. That is also going to collect the 5 machine as well. So the 5 of Randy Perdue also involved in that. So it's going to take out 3 heavy hitters there, Sean, as that's our 9th caution of the night.
Oh, absolutely, man. That's very unfortunate. And that's going to mark incident number 1 caused on the exit of turn number 4. Surprisingly, this late in the race, the first incident occurring on the exit of turn number 4. But yep, Scott Mitten, heavy smoke from the rear end, including 23 of Jim Kelly in the exact same boat. Well, going up front here, being led by Curtis Vollmer, leading everybody down pit road as they do follow, and this should be our final required pit stop of the evening. Race off pit road, oh man, and at 99 of Bryce Whitson edges out 48 of Curtis Vollmer by a nose hair on the exit of pit road, but Bryce is slowing down. Yep, looks like Bryce is letting everybody by. That means one thing, ladies and gentlemen, he got caught speeding on pit road due to trying to race Vollmer off pit road. And unfortunately has gotten an end of the line penalty by the officials. Yep, looking at it from my end, looks like Bryce was doing about 5 miles per hour over the pit road limit, which is 35 miles per hour. He was doing 40 as he crossed the line at the end of pit road. Unfortunately, going back up front, we are being led by Curtis Vollmer, Hunter McDaniel second, Octavio Rondoletto third, John Sterling fourth, Ralph Vanderforst fifth, Tyler Holman 6th, Gary Woobot 7th, Joshua Gillen 8th, Timothy Hamlet 9th, Scott Mitten 10th, and that rounds up the top 10. Oh, and also the lucky dog was given to the 61 of Jeffrey Gillum, who was able to be back on the lead lap. And that gives us 14 drivers on the lead lap. And the status check on the 23 of Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly, who was smoking heavily during the initiation of the caution, well, after the incident, is now back on the racing surface, currently in the 14th place spot. And first driver, 1 lap down. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back 1 to green, being led by Curtis Vollmer with the help of Octavio Rondoletto. Outside line being led by Hunter McDaniel with the help of John Sterling. We are going green. So 111 laps complete and 60 laps left in tonight's race. A 59-lap shootout coming up. And we've lost one more driver, unfortunately, the 5 of Randy Perdue. We look forward to seeing him back again next week at Texas Motor Speedway. A pace car dips off and Vollmer finds the gas pedal immediately. Behind him, Hunter McDaniel already battling this 39 of Octavio Rondoletto for second place. But a shifting difference is going to edge out. It's going to help Hunter McDaniel maintain second place against Octavio Rondoletto, who missed a shift there between second and third at the start-finish line. And now John Sterling battling side by side with Rondoletto as we speak. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with 113 laps complete and 58 laps left, we'll take another commercial break this time around. We'll be right back, so please stay tuned.
Don't let your first date be your last. Visit People Against Distracted Driving at PADD.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bar Harbor 170. That's the Bar Harbor 170, round 5 of 10, Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping Road Track Series, season number 10, brought to you by the AdvancedSimulationProducts.com. That's AdvancedSimulationProducts.com, specializing in custom button boxes. Well, going back to tonight's race here, ladies and gentlemen, we have 41 laps left and 131 laps complete. Actually, 130 laps complete, and 41 laps to go here in tonight's race. And it is go time for a lot of these drivers. The field is very, very spread out. And as we speak, we are being led by Curtis Vollmer. Hunter McDaniel second place, Bryce Whitson Jr. third, Octavio Rondeletto fourth, and John Sterling in that fifth place spot. And now the leader up front, Hunter McDaniel, is battling some serious laps traffic. And as we speak, this is working against Vollmer, but with McDaniel, Bryce Whitson, and the rest of his opponents behind. And looking at the gap between the top two drivers, Curtis Vollmer and Hunter McDaniel, the gap is now 2.9 seconds. Actually, that just went down to 2.5 seconds. So due to him battling lap traffic, McDaniel was able to gain 0.4 of a second against Curtis Vollmer. And now Bryce Whitson Jr. still third, not too far behind Hunter McDaniel. And here we have 77 of Tyler Hallman, currently getting around John Sterling. Yes, he just got run successfully. And now Tyler Holman bumps up to 6th place and bumping John Sterling down to 7th. And ladies and gentlemen, a lot of the drivers tonight got claimed by the track. Unfortunately, this is one of those tracks, so they were not able to unleash those beasts they have underneath them. So with that said, they'll be able to do just that next week. Texas Motor Speedway next week. Texas Motor Speedway, round number 6. That's round 6 of 10 in the regular race season before the chase begins. That's going to be entitled the Advanced Simulation Products 142 Texas Motor Speedway. And 35 laps left in tonight's race, and these drivers can make it on gas. So that's one less thing to worry about. And we have 12 drivers left on the lead lap. With Tommy Amasi, the 05, currently the last driver on the lead lap, behind the 40 of Jay Pryor, who is his next opponent, and 17 of Tommy Haynes. Tommy Haynes is back from the dead. Tommy Haynes blew his motor there early on after some contact up front during a wreck. He had nowhere to go. Unfortunately, got a piece of the action, but now his machine is back to life, currently in the 28th place spot. But up front, the gap between the top 2 drivers got nothing but bigger. So Hunter McDaniel is now 2.8 seconds behind the leader, Curtis Vollmer. At the same time, Bryce Whitson was able to gain some time against Hunter McDaniel. And as we speak, Bryce Whitson goes to the inside of Hunter McDaniel, side by side. Hunter McDaniel trying to hold him off the best that he can, that he possibly can. Oh man, off the exit of turn number 4, Whitson backed off to avoid getting pushed up into McDaniel with the help of that big deadly bump on the exit of turn number 4. And that still keeps McDaniel in 2nd place and Whitson in 3rd. And keep in mind, McDaniel's machine seems to be struggling on the long run due to the damage he sustained early on, which has seemed to have been getting worse with every single lap this far. And so far, Bryce Whitson is now pulling him in again to try and go at it. I will try again. Hopefully this time it works. So far, Bryce Whitson, keep in mind, he already has himself locked into this chase. Hunter McDaniel and Curtis Vollmer trying to do just that. Oh, actually, we just had Bryce Whitson pull off the track, going down pit road. That means one thing. Actually, Bryce Whitson had 35 laps on his tires when he pitted in. So it looks like we need one more pit stop in order for them to be able to make it the rest of the way with 27 laps remaining. And Hunter McDaniel as well, going down pit road this time around, including Octavio Rondoletto. Yes, one more final pit stop needed. I apologize. I did think that the last pit stop was the final pit stop, but I guess I was wrong. So the driver is going to take 2 tires with just a little bit of gas, enough gas to end the rest of the way, to go the rest of the way. That means less time on pit road and more time racing. And the leader up front as well, Curtis Vollmer, going down pit road as we speak, and Ralph Van der Forst right behind. And ladies and gentlemen, entering pit road here is very, very tricky. So the drivers have to be extra careful to avoid either getting caught speeding or missing the pit entrance, or just hitting the tires, separating the pit entrance from the track. And Tyler Holman, the new race leader, now going down pit road as well as we speak. And welcome back there, Brent. Yep, we have some green flag pit stops taking place. That's the final pit stops of the evening with 23 laps remaining. And John Sterling, the new race leader with 40 laps on his tires, Gary Woolbot included. So we have John Sterling, Gary Woolbot, Joshua Gillen, Tommy Massey, Jeffrey Gillam, Jason Eisenhower, Pedro Jose, Luis Buyones, Scott Brooks, Travis Pryor, Doug Blackman, including Garrett Helmlinger. These drivers still need to pit in, but the only drivers on the lead lap who need to pit in include John Sterling, Gary Woolbot, Joshua Gillen, and Tommy Massey, basically the top four. Two tires, banana, and two wipes, and a Snickers bar. It's a good one. And Tommy Massey, so one of those four drivers going down pit road, that is Tommy Massey. That just now leaves three drivers on the lead lap needing to pit in, namely John Sterling, Gary Woolbot, and Joshua Gillen. And by the looks of it, ladies and gentlemen, everybody this far, everybody who pitted in under the green flag conditions decided to take 4 tires with full tanks of gas. Better safe than sorry. So which means the tire wear must be pretty bad at this track for them to take 4 tires with about 22 laps to go. And Gary Woolbot going down pit road as we speak, only leaving 2 drivers on the lead lap needing to pit in, namely John Sterling and Joshua Gillen. So John Sterling and Joshua Gillen. John Sterling going on to now 46 laps on his tires and tank. And and Joshua Gillen going on to 44 laps since his last pit stop. By the looks of it, we have John Sterling and Joshua Gillen trying to run the tanks dry. But the longer they stay out, the more time they lose, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody behind them, all the heavy hitters are on fresh stickers. With that said, a lot more grip, a lot more forgiveness, a lot more speed for them on the throughout the whole entire track, which means a big disadvantage for John Sterling and Gillen, who have limited grip. With that said, they're forced to back it down even more to avoid sliding up into one of those walls. I guess the best term was John Sterling and Joshua have a lot less grip, not a limited amount, because everybody has a limited amount of grip. But you get the point. And now John Sterling going on to 50 laps on his tires, and Tank with 14 laps left. Yes, 14 laps left and 157 laps complete in tonight's race. Bryce Whitson Jr., Curtis Vollmer, Hunter McDaniel, and Jeffrey Gillum were able to get their laps back the hard way against John Sterling and Joshua Gillen, and seem to be gaining a lot of time, about 5-6 seconds with every single lap. And John Sterling on the inside line is backing that sucker down. It's increasing speed again, going around one more time, and now 51 laps on his tires and tank. And also, Bryce Whitson Jr. was able to get off pit road ahead of, well, during the green flag pit stops, he was able to get ahead 48 of Curtis Vollmer, who at the time was the race leader. So Bryce Whitson is currently 3rd place, Curtis Vollmer 4th, and Hunter McDaniel in the 5th place spot, all spread out by 2 seconds, or I should say 2 seconds apart. And John Sterling finally giving up the race lead to go down pit road for his final pit stop. So the good thing for John Sterling and Joshua Gillen is they can take maybe no tires and just a little bit of gas for the final 10 laps, because we now have 10 laps to go in tonight's race. And now some new battles forming up here as we speak. We have Bryce Whitson getting run down by Curtis Vollmer, and Bryce Whitson is tackling some heavy traffic on his way to the front to 40 of Joshua Gillen, and this is working in favor of 48 of Curtis Vollmer. But this could be an exchange. Basically, once Bryce is done dealing with this traffic, Curtis Vollmer will have to deal with the exact same traffic, so the time he gained will be lost again. So it's pretty much going to be an exchange once it comes down to it. But the 4-0 of Joshua Gillen most likely hoping for a caution, in desperate need of a caution. He has 54 laps on his tires with 7 laps in. He's trying to just pretty much stay out, run the tank dry. And if a caution comes out, he might be able to save enough gas to make it. Actually, scratch that. Joshua Gillen is clutching that sucker in. Yes, he is. In the turns, he is, clutching it in to maximize the fuel economy. He is saving gas, hoping for the best. And with him saving, unfortunately, the leader, the 99 of Bryce Whitson, second place driver, is only 3 seconds behind him and gaining. Oh, the caution flies. That's just what Joshua Gillen needed. We're gonna back it up and see what happened.
That is going to be between the 72 and the 25, as the 72 takes a heck of a ride here. Just looks like the 72 in the wall, shot off the wall, or the 25 into the wall, shot off the wall, into the 72. Let's go on board here in the cockpit of the 72 and watch this. As he is battling, the 25 goes up into the wall, contact because of the difference in speed, but unfortunately the 72 goes around and he goes airborne. And that is going to be our 10th caution here tonight.
Oh man, very unfortunate for the drivers involved in that, especially the 72 of Alex Kingsbury, who had just gotten off pit road not too long ago after getting damage fixed on his machine as he is. 80 laps down, 80 laps down, unfortunately. But hopefully they have a better race. He has a better race next week at Texas. And ladies and gentlemen, that caution came out with 6 laps left in the race. So with that said, 1 to 2 lap shootout coming up. It is going to be wild. Basically, the next flag ends the race. And we've lost 2 more drivers, Randy Perdue and Doug Blackman. We look forward to seeing these drivers back next week at Texas Motor Speedway. It's going to be quite the show, as these drivers will be able to unleash all these heavy battling beasts at that track. In this case, a more forgiving track. But going back up front to the 4-0 of Joshua Gillen, that caution caught him at a very, very good time, ladies and gentlemen. Just right before he was going to get overtaken by Bryce Whitson and Curtis Vollmer and Hunter McDaniel. But that caution was a very, very good thing for him. So hopefully for his case, for his sake, he does have enough gas to make it. He's going to be able to save enough gas for the rest of the way. Great strategy. Oh, man. Fingers crossed. I have my doubts. There was a reason why everybody else pitted in. So we're going to find out. And 8 drivers on the lead lap here so far. 8 drivers on the lead lap, with Timothy Hamlet being the last driver on the lead lap. Gary Whitson, first driver, 1 lap down. Yeah, it's been a rough race for a lot of the drivers out there, unfortunately. We'll look forward to seeing everybody back next week. The Advanced Simulation Products 142, race number 6 of 10 in the regular race season before the chase begins at Texas Motor Speedway. Heck of a track. And with the difference in tires, ladies and gentlemen, between Joshua Gillen and Bryce Whitson Jr. Joshua Gillen has 58 laps on his tires, while Bryce Whitson has 25 laps on his tires. That is a very, 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 very big difference on tires. So for the first lap, Joshua should be fine. That's actually a 33 lap difference. That's 33 lap difference on tires. So, with that said, Joshua just might be at a big disadvantage. Actually, scratch that, a 1 lap shootout coming up. So he should be fine. He gets a good jump against the rest of the field. So 1 lap shootout coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, the white flag flies as soon as the green flag flies. Joshua Gillen in the lead with the help of Curtis Vollmer. Outside line being led by Bryce Whitson Jr. with the help of Hunter McDaniel. With that damage on McDaniel's machine, that has gotten worse. His right front actually got curved in a little bit more than before. But he is still trucking, and Tyler Hallman in the 5th place spot. Octavio Rondoletto in the 6th place spot. Ralph Vanderforst 7th. Timothy Hamlet 8th. Gary B. Whitson 9th. And John Sterling in the 10th place spot. A wild one coming up. Hang on to your seats, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a wild finish. Pace car dips up and Gillen goes on the gas pedal immediately. He gets a commanding lead against everybody else. The green flag is out. Entering turn 1, he has a big gap between him and Bryce Whitson and Curtis Vollmer. And Bryce Whitson and Curtis Vollmer going at it side by side of 2nd place. And right behind them is Hunter McDaniel. Bryce into the wall on the exit of turn number 2. They make contact. Bryce in the grass. He comes up on the track. Contact between him. Oh, big wreck entering turn number 3. Bryce Whitson out, Vollmer out, including the 57 of McDaniel. Big junk entering turn number 3. Who brought this thing home? Joshua Gillen brings it home unchallenged. Ralph Vanderforst 2nd, Tyler Hallman 3rd, Timothy Hamlet 4th, and Bryce Whitson Jr. in the 5th place spot. Oh my, what a sudden turn of events. That was unfortunate for the drivers involved in that one, and that was a big one in the final lap on the last turn. But Joshua Gillen does bring this thing home unchallenged. Ladies and gentlemen, top 3 interviews coming up and a special guest, so please stay tuned. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined up in the booth by the, we're actually joined by the leader here so far, the 4-0 of Joshua Gillen, tonight's race winner, Joshua Gillen, the Gillen Motorsports team. Get a cup there, Joshua.
Yes, sir.
How you doing tonight?
I'm very nervous. I ran out of gas as soon as I crossed the line and done 2 donuts. That was it.
Oh man, perfect timing, and yes, that was quite the gamble you took, man. You decided to stay out while everybody else pitted in, and that caution came at a very, very good time. And what was going on through your mind when you realized that you had Bryce Whitson and Vollmer catching up to you before the final caution came out?
I figured they was gonna just blow by me. I was just really trying to get a top 10 at this track. 90% of this race, I stayed in the back, anywhere from like 20th to 30th position. I never think I could do it here.
Oh, absolutely, man. Well, congrats on the success, and most importantly, congrats on securing yourself a spot in the chase. That is very, very impressive after a well-fought race on your part, strategically, for the most important part. And you were able to bring this thing home. Very, very impressive. We look forward to seeing you again next week at Texas Motor Speedway. Well, before you go to final words.
Yeah, I gotta thank everybody that has anything to do with Extreme Motorsports, especially y'all broadcasting, the other racers. They probably could have ran me over at the end of the race. I slapped a wall. I'm just thankful they didn't run me over. I got to thank Advanced Simulation Products for being on this truck all season, and I'm very glad for my teammates to be here with me.
Well, congrats once again on your success here tonight. We look forward to seeing the exact same performance on your part next week at Texas Motor Speedway. We'll go celebrate. You earned it.
Thanks, sir. Y'all have a good night.
And that was the 40 of Joshua Gillen. But next in line is 68 of Ralph Vanderforst, Mr. High Side himself. Get up there, Ralph.
Hey, it's been a while.
Way too long, man. How you doing?
Pretty good tonight.
Oh, indeed. We noticed in the very beginning there, man, you got caught up in some incidents, but you were still able to find your way towards the front in the later stage of the race. And give us a rundown of what you saw on the last lap, in the last turn, as those seas were parting.
Just a whole bunch of luck rolling my way. I just happened to hit it right, and I didn't have to back out of it. And I think the 77 had to a little bit, and I just had enough to get by him.
Oh, absolutely, man. Congrats on the success. We're glad that everything was able to work out during that carnage. But how's your experience overall tonight, man? Because this track seems to be one of the toughest tracks for a lot of drivers and for a lot of machines, too.
Boy, I got to talk to all the other drivers out there, man. We got to learn to give it a little bit. That's the only way we're going to get these green flag runs in, and that's really where the fun's at. The last 50, 70 laps there, that wasn't too bad, but we just got to give and take with each other a little bit, and I think we'd all have a lot more fun.
Oh, absolutely, man. Very, very nicely said. But once again, congrats on your success here tonight. Despite the bad luck in the beginning of the race, you were able to turn it around for the better. And the seas ended up parting for you at the very end. And you brought this thing home in second place. Very, very impressive. Look forward to seeing you one spot higher next week at Texas. Any final words before you go?
Hey, I like that high side, too. That's a good place for me, Texas.
Oh, copy that. You're going to be able to live up to your name, Mr. High Side. Well, buddy, congratulations and have a good night. Go see you again next week.
Hopefully we get to talk next week.
And that was Mr. High Side himself, Ralph Vanderforst. But next in line is 77 of Tyler Hallman. Get a go up there, Tyler?
Yes, sir, I do.
How you doing tonight?
Sweaty.
Oh man, I can imagine. You had your hands full, a lot of carnage to get around tonight. But how was your experience tonight?
Best finish in my career at Dover. Very happy. Very good long run truck. Surprisingly, I thought I was going to qualify better than I did. I was a little down on it, and teammates kind of talked me up and said, "Just do you and run your line." And track really came into play, came to me as it happened. I was able to arc my line a little bit more and get some real good runs and make some key passes later in the race. Even though I had a little bit of damage, it still seemed to get up and boogie pretty good. So really cannot complain on the podium, except for the fact that my teammate, of course, Curtis, got taken out there, unfortunately, in that last wreck. He had the dominant truck, so really hate that for him and his guys. But hey, all smoke is on podium.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, very, very well executed race on your part. And very sorry to hear about your teammate getting caught up in an incident there towards the very end. But what seemed to be the most difficult part for tonight's race, from your perspective, when it came to maybe handling, or basically what was your worst, the worst factor?
Discipline, I would say. You really have to just wait to get in that gas to the right time at this track. And if you get in early, you're going to come up out of your line, and with how fast this track is, if you run your line, you're going to lose your spot. It's that quick. So you just got to really just consistently run lines that work, which the line did change as the race went on, which was interesting because as the rubber got put down, which I love that we're doing that this season, really changed the track. I know Curtis was telling me the same thing. His truck really came alive at one point. I think he had like a 2-second lead, so he had a hell of a truck, and we had pretty similar setup on the truck, and long run truck was what really mattered there, and came to that restart, and I just gave it all I could and survived to the end.
Oh, 10-4. Well, congrats on the success here tonight, buddy. And also congrats on this being your best win yet. Dover International, look forward to seeing you 2 spots higher next week. And hopefully you have a better finish the next race you have here at Dover International. But once again, congratulations on your success tonight. And then final words before you go, and final words.
I just want to thank my teammates, Samson Motorsports. I want to thank everyone that helps me out. It's been this finish is huge for my team. Really hated what was happening the last couple of weeks, just having really good trucks and unfortunately just not being able to finish on the lead lap. I think 2 of the last three races I was laps down. I just hated for that, all the work that goes in and all the practice we do, and it all paid off today, so this will help us for the points, and we still got some more season to run. So thank you guys in the booth, and Extreme for putting on the league, and we'll see you next week.
Oh, copy that, brother. See you again next week. 2 spots high. Congrats, and go celebrate.
Thanks.
That was Samson Motorsports driver Tyler Hallman, but next in line is our 4th place finisher, 14-9 of Timothy Hamlet, being the heaviest mover tonight. Get a go up there, Tim.
How you doing there, Sean? Good to see you again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Long time no see. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. That was a hectic end there.
Oh, absolutely, man. Everything seemed to have worked well on your part, because, I guess other people's bad luck is other drivers' benefit in this case. But how was your race tonight? How's your experience?
It was good. I had some computer issues early on. I feel like I could have been up there earlier on in the race if I didn't have them. I had some updates going on behind the scenes, and kind of made me to be real cautious around everybody.
Oh,
but other than that, it was a good race.
I'm sorry to hear about the computer issues you had going on, but despite that, still being able to finish in 4th place, I can't imagine what you're capable of without those computer issues being in existence. But congrats on your success here tonight. But next week, team, we're going to a more forgiving track, Texas Motor Speedway. What are your plans for next week? Basically, what do you think is the best approach for that race?
Well, the best approach is to be there at the end. That's always my approach to every race, is try to make sure I'm there towards the end, and not being too aggressive at the front. I have a couple different lines I like to run at that track, so I look forward to that race, and it's gonna be fun.
Absolutely, man. We look forward to seeing you 3 spots higher. You've been moving up with every single week. Last week from Charlotte, you did move up. You finished in the 9th place spot, and this week finishing 5 spots higher in the 4th place spot. Actually, 5 spots. Well, you get the point. But next week, look forward to seeing you 3 spots higher in the having your first win. Hopefully, you'll be able to secure yourself a spot in the chase. Any final words before you go?
Yeah, I just want to have everybody know to go out and check out the Clifford Keith Band. I saw them on my truck tonight. It's actually a local here in Delaware, right just outside of Dover. They do Americana. They're on Amazon Prime, Google Play, and iTunes. Check them out.
Well, congrats once again on your success here tonight, and see you again next week. We'll go celebrate. You earned it.
Thanks, Sean. Y'all have a good one.
And that was Timothy Hamlet, and that rounds up interviews. Joshua Gillen, Ralph van der Forst, Tyler Hallman, and Timothy Hamlet, 1st through 4th respectively. And Joshua Gillen has been able to secure himself a spot in the chase, ladies and gentlemen. So that gives us 5 drivers. So 5 races, 5 different winners. And those 5 drivers all locked into the chase. And now 5 more races, with the next race being held at Texas Motor Speedway, entitled Advanced Simulation Products 142. Well, Dave, any final words before we close off?
It's just Miles the Monster definitely took his toll on these drivers today.
Absolutely, man. I'm surprised that Turn 4 didn't claim a lot more drivers. But ladies and gentlemen, a lot more side by side coming to you live next week in the Truck Series at Texas Motor Speedway. And this was the Bar Harbor 170 round 5 and the halfway mark of the regular race season for the chase. So once again, 5 more races left in the season before the chase begins, and 5 more opportunities for the drivers who are not locked into the chase to get themselves locked into this chase to go against Hunter McDaniel for that championship. And the next broadcast will be right here tomorrow night on the online sim racing network, the Extreme Motorsports 99.com Xfinity Series. We look forward to seeing everybody there. And thank you very much for being a part of tonight's race. I am Sean Zulu, and David Everly behind the cameras. Have a good night.